Yeah, welcome back to my channel. Today we are going to look at Wike's actions undermines established institutions. Now, the actions of the Minister of the Federal Capital Territory is a clear indication of the fact that our institutions are no longer working. Because if the institutions are working, some of these issues are issues that would have been handled either by the judiciary or the Ministry of Defense or the ministries and parastatals in the Federal Capital Territory. Now, the fact indicates that most of these ministries are no longer functional. Because ordinarily, if people have a land dispute, if a land is in dispute, the expectation is that the people will go to court. The parties concerned will go to court and the court will decide the best way that the matter should be handled. And that way, the matter will be resolved and there will be peace. But in this case, the institutions are boycotted. Nobody wants to carry the institutions along anymore. So by the fact that these institutions that are supposed to mediate and resolve these issues are no longer functional or have been rendered redundant, people have decided to take personal means of protecting their properties. That is why when the information came that they want to demolish that estate, the military, whoever is in charge or whoever knows the late officer have to send the young man Yerima to go and protect the property. It's like a way of, resorting to self-help. Because without the officer in that place on that day, that land or the properties on that land would have been destroyed. And this is a clear action of where institutions are disregarded, are not carried along, are not allowed to perform their duties. And if it continues like this, a lot more people will seek for self-help. And now, if such a high-ranking military officer can also face this kind of humiliation, imagine the ordinary Nigerian that does not have what it takes to seek for security to protect their properties. That is why it is necessary for the leaders of this nation to consider the fact that institutions are established for reasons. The judiciary is there to adjudicate issues that has to do with conflicts between institutions or conflict between persons or two persons. And that is why these institutions are established. The parastatals are also there. The Ministry of Defense is also there. Now, instead of this approach and actions, the way it was carried out, now the Minister of the Federal Capital Territory actually have the contact of the Chief of Naval Staff. And this is something that he would have just sit in the comfort of his office and call the Chief of Naval Staff and report the matter to the Chief of Naval Staff, and the officer would have been called to order. That is a way of using the institution, the military, the hierarchy of the military, to handle the issue, instead of going there to handle the matter directly. And when land matters are handled in a hasty manner in this form, it begins to create doubt and suspicion in the minds of the public. Because land issues are not issues that you just handle immediately, now, that kind of horrid way of handling land matters. Because some of these lands must have been properly acquired. And according to the information, the documents are complete. If peradventure now these documents happens to be fake, for example, it may not be the fault of the officer. Sometimes some of the people that are working in these parastatals and land offices are also fraudulent. Maybe the person must have gone there to do the right thing, and the people in the office decided to to give him fake documents. Now, is it the fault of the officer? These are questions that the court or institutions really need to look at it. Now, if the corrupt person, a corrupt worker in the land registry, or where the land or lands are located, now decided to issue fake documents for somebody who came there to pay the right fees, it should not be the responsibility of the man who came there to pay the documents to be held responsible. So sometimes these issues really need to be properly examined, either by a law court or by the institutions that are concerned. But now the idea of boycotting all the relevant institutions that are supposed to look into this matter is creating a lot of suspicion, because land matters are not issues that you handle in one day. And the speed at which the lands have been allocated to other persons while the issues are not yet resolved creates suspicion. That's why we are saying that the institutions that have been established to handle such matters have been undermined. The judiciary has been undermined in this matter, because a court judgment concerning this matter would have resolved the issues. The ministries that are concerned are not carried along. The minister is handling these matters by himself. In such a situation, there is likely going to be injustice, because the minister, no matter how informed he is, may not have all the facts. Just like as I have said earlier, if the issue of maybe the wrong papers happens to come from the office of the land issuer, then what do you do? These are areas that need proper examination to look at it properly and see if the people can be asked to pay, maybe renew their documents, or maybe revalidate their documents, and make sure that their properties are not, they don't just lose their properties the way it is going. So it is necessary that the institutions do their job so that these matters can easily be resolved and ensure that justice is done to every Tom, Dick, and Harry. Thank you for watching this video. Subscribe to this channel and share these videos.